week 7 of the fantasy football season, and here's a few running backs I looked at off the wire this week. So this week, jam-packed at the running back position. We saw some backs go down. Christian McCaffrey, he got banged up, left the game. We saw a lot of committee over there in Arizona after Connor went on injury reserve last week, and we even saw Stevenson leave the game but come back as well, and David Montgomery get hurt. But anyway, the first guy is Jordan Mason of the San Francisco 49ers. So right now, McCaffrey banged up with an oblique injury and some other injuries as well, Coach Shanahan said after the game. So right now, Mason, he's the backup running back over there you want to own in San Francisco. I know Elijah Mitchell, he's back, but he didn't do anything in the past week's ball game, Mitchell, where he got some run, but nothing. 2 carries, -3 yards, with Mason 5 carries, 27 yards and a touchdown. So obviously the running back, a big role here in this offense for the San Francisco 49er team. And this kid, Mason, he's a hard runner. We saw it last week as well versus the Dallas Cowboys in week 5. We had 10 carries, 69 yards, and a touchdown. In week 6 at Cleveland, 5 carries, 27 yards, and a touchdown. So right now, McCaffrey, we'll see what the reports are going to come out. I know this team, they don't play till Monday Night Football at the Minnesota Vikings. But right now, while Mason's out there in 96% of fantasy leagues, and even if McCaffrey misses, let's say, 2 weeks here, and then their bye week is week 9 here, he's definitely a running back that could pay big dividends and the top pickup in all fantasy football. If McCaffrey's going to miss time this week, the next back's Craig Reynolds of the Detroit Lions. So we saw David Montgomery leave early in this ball game, obviously with the shoulder injury, and Craig Reynolds came in and he got a lot of carries, even though he didn't put up a lot of points. 10 carries, 15 yards, 2 catches, 28 yards. So right here, Craig Reynolds, we know, is a hard-nosed runner. Not much of a receiver out of the backfield, even though, like I said, he added the 2 catches for 28 yards in this game. So right now, Jahmyr Gibbs, we'll see if he comes back off the hamstring injury. But Montgomery with the rib and the shoulder leaving this game. Even though x-rays were negative, we got to see what the reports are out on him. So right now, Reynolds available 99% of fantasy leagues. I do believe, though, I think Jahmyr Gibbs will be back in next week's game, especially if Montgomery's out. But I think Reynolds still will have a role in the offense, so I would get him this week. The next running back is Kareem Hunt of the Cleveland Browns. So pretty much it was a 50-50 split for the most part back there in this Cleveland Brown backfield. We know Kareem Hunt, he was on this roster last season, got a lot of work with Nick Chubb. We know Nick Chubb's out for the season. It's Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt back there in the backfield with these teams. But like I said, these guys pretty much were a 50-50 split over there. So Kareem Hunt, veteran running back, still has some juice left, and he had 12 carries, 47 yards, a touchdown, 3 catches, 24 yards. So he's always been a decent wide receiver out of the backfield. There's Hunt, and right now he's available in tons of fantasy leagues. It's 64%. So this week that number is definitely going to bump up. This Brown team's been running the football more with Watson out the last few games. And the good news as well, their bye week passed in week 5. So Hunt, a solid pickup this week. The next running back is Keontae Ingram of the Arizona Cardinals. A lot of people that ran out to the wire and got Amari DiMercido last week after he had a decent game. But obviously Ingram, he didn't play in the week 5 game. So Ingram in week 6 with a committee of backs, 10 carries, 40 yards, 2 catches, 11 yards. So week 7 a matchup at the Seattle Seahawks. And like I said, Damian Williams, DiMercido got work as well. But Keontae Ingram had the best fantasy day out of all those players. So I know it's not a great opportunity over there, and it could be a mess in that backfield with 3 running backs getting some touches. But right now, while Ingram's out there in 80% of fantasy leagues, and he looked like the leader of that backfield in week 6 here, he's a running back I look to get off the wire this week. The next running back, Salvon Ahmed of the Miami Dolphins. So Jeff Wilson, there was an opportunity where he might have came back in this game off the IR, but that didn't happen. And Salvon Ahmed, I know he didn't get a lot of early carries in the game, and Raheem Mostert, another dominant performance with 3 touchdowns. But Ahmed finished 6 carries, 23 yards, a touchdown, 3 catches, 11 yards on 5 targets. So Ahmed, another speedy running back in the backfield. He didn't get that Devon Achane type of workload, and we know Achane, he's out 3 more weeks here on injured reserve. But right now, Ahmed, like I said, he's another speedster to go in there. Raheem Mostert, he's not really an every downs back. I know they're using him a lot, and he's got high volume, but throughout his career, he's been more of a speed back and obviously a player that's been injury prone is Mostert. So right now, as a handcuff and a player who's seen the field in Ahmed, he's available right now in 79% of fantasy leagues. In the final running back I looked at off the wire is Ezekiel Elliott of the New England Patriots. So we saw Ramondre Stevenson leave the game for a little bit in this one here. And Zeke, he looked like he had some juice, even a touchdown that was called back after it was a monster run. So Zeke looks quicker this season. He looks more determined. And obviously he's still playing for a spot in this league for next season as well. So Zeke finishing in that game at the Raiders. 7 carries, 34 yards, a touchdown, a catch for 15 yards. So right now, him and Stevenson, for the most part, they've been both getting work in the backfield here for this Patriot team. And Zeke Elliott, I know the games haven't been great. Week 4 at Dallas, 4.20. Week 5 versus New Orleans, 7.80. And then Week 6 at Vegas, 11.90. But he's getting work. They use, Belichick always likes to use 2 running backs. And right now, with a lot of bye weeks starting to come up, and we see getting work, he's available right now in still 57% of fantasy leagues. That's a few running backs I looked at off the wire for Week 7 of the fantasy football season.